Alright. Alright. What is going on, friends and family of the channel? I am back with my girlfriend, Sammy Grimm.
What's up, guys?
And today we're doing something called a mukbang. So I'm sure most of you know what that is, but real briefly, if you've never heard of a mukbang, basically it's a video where you just sit down and eat and have a regular conversation over dinner or lunch. We're having lunch right now. And for you as the viewer, it's just kind of like an interesting talk, discussion, but also the intention is usually that you eat a meal too, so that it kind of feels like we're having a tableside conversation and you're part of it.
Exactly.
Except you're just like on permanent listen.
Yes.
You can't contribute, but you can comment. We decided to get some sushi today. So we went to one of our favorite places called Narumi. This has avocado, cucumber. The other one is a vegetable roll that has avocado, carrots, and cucumber, celery?
It looks like, yeah. Okay. I think it's cucumber, yeah.
And then I have some pancit that Sammy's aunt made us.
Yes.
And so this is like one of our first all vegan dishes she made for us. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
It's absolutely delicious.
And then I have some white rice with some soy sauce.
I love sushi.
Oh,
sad face, there's no eel sauce.
I know, so sad.
So usually there's something that's called unagi, which translates to eel sauce. And a lot of people get this confused and they'll DM us and say, isn't eel sauce not vegan because it's eel sauce? The reason it's called eel sauce is because they usually traditionally serve it with an eel dish, but the actual sauce itself is not made from eel. It's completely vegan, and it's really, really freaking good. So try that out.
It's delicious.
Yeah, it's freaking amazing. We are at Sammy's aunt's. It's kind of like feels like vacation every time we watch her house because it's so freaking nice here.
So nice, yeah.
The weather is really nice. It's cloudy. My
Nice
favorite
and cloudy
version
today.
of weather. I just had a kick-ass friggin' workout, so I'm hungry, baby. Okay,
That's delicious.
one more piece, one more bit of me umming at you before I start talking. Oh! I love you, sushi. If I had to choose one food, because this is always a hypothetical question everyone says, if you had to choose one food to eat for the rest of your life, no other food, what would it be? It would absolutely be Japanese food, and if specifically I had to choose, it'd be sushi.
It's so good.
I love it. Yeah, I could eat this every day probably for, I'd say like, honestly, probably like a half year before I was like, okay.
I'm over it, yeah.
Yeah, take a little break.
I think I would agree with that too, because there's so many different options that you can do, especially because being vegan, you can substitute so many different like vegetables and stuff with it. So it's like the limit, there's no limit to it, so it's delicious.
The one that we do is usually mushrooms, avocado, and carrots, and we just pre-saute the mushrooms and the carrots first. It gets like a bunch of different flavors and some crunch in there, crunch supreme. It's really good. So we just saw the Avengers, and we're not going to spoil it, so don't need to click away. We're not going to spoil it. But just our opinion of it real quick. We just saw it last night. So many people have been hyping it for us. People have been saying like, you need to see it. I can't believe you haven't seen it yet. It's insanely good. And we finished watching it last night. And what do you think?
Okay, so we actually just saw the second one. What's that one called?
Infinity War, and then this is called Endgame.
Okay, so I prepared for this movie, right? I was so excited. We watched Infinity Wars, which I thought was so good. That movie was really good.
Yeah, Infinity War was really good.
So I watched that, and I thought it was great. So leading up to this movie, I had really high expectations, especially because the reviews were crazy. Everyone was really hyping it up for us. So I really had high expectations for this movie, and I was a little disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I gave it probably like a 4 to 5 out of 10. I would say.
Jeez, that was way lower than me.
Yeah, I would say that. I don't know. I was expecting so much more from it. It was good. It was really good, but I was expecting so much more.
It was a really good action movie. It had a lot of like really dope stuff going on. And if you love the comic books, it was really cool to see all the people and stuff. But I think we were just being overhyped by people, and so I kind of felt like at the end of it, it was going to give me a mind blow sensation. Like it was kind of like Inception or Interstellar, where at the end you're like, oh, I didn't even realize, and then you're connecting all these things that you've seen that you're like, that makes sense now. It was not really anything like that. So yeah, there's that for me. I didn't think it was bad though. I would give it a 7 to an 8 out of 10. Yeah,
that's really high.
Yeah,
that's good.
I probably wouldn't rewatch it unless it was on Netflix. I'd rather watch Infinity War again.
Yeah, me too. That one was so good compared. I don't know why. I just think it was so much better.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
Then, I think also, I was saying this to my friend today because he really likes Avengers. I was like, I think I've also been a little bit spoiled by Game of Thrones lately. And we're not going to spoil that for you either. But it has been so good this season. And I know a lot of people have some trouble with episode 3, the whole battle at Winterfell. I still absolutely love it.
It was so good. We watched that episode 3 times.
We did watch it 3 times.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, I'm sorry, you can't tell me nothing about
100%.
It's so good.
Game of Thrones is freaking amazing. And I just feel like they obey the laws of what they created. And so, like, there's not, like, some magic stuff that you're like, oh, okay, well, that just came out of left field. It all kind of makes sense. I like that they kill people. Like, the writers weren't like, oh, okay, we're going to keep everyone alive because we don't want to make anybody sad. Like, in real war, son, people die.
Yep.
Your dad dies, even though you like your dad. It happens. And I like that Game of Thrones is not scared of dropping people throughout the seasons. It's like my favorite part about the show and why I think I like it so much. Yeah. So, anyways, without going any further, because otherwise we'd probably start spoiling things. Those are our favorite things that we've seen lately. Game of Thrones, we're obsessed with.
We're obsessed with it.
Came straight home from VegFest on Sunday, drove 2.5 hours to get home, and then immediately started watching Game of Thrones.
And then rewatched it again last night.
Fact.
We've been rewatching the episodes just because they're so epic and so good that we have to like get another dose of it because it's just so amazing.
Speaking of VegFest.
Oh, yeah.
So, we went to VegFest, LA is what it's called. And we just went as spectators this time. We decided not to vlog. We decided not to, like, you know, put too much into it, just to, like, go and have fun. But it was really cool because, obviously, we got to see all our friends. Got to shout out Supreme Banana Cammy, Bobby. We got Mike the Vegan was there. Straight Veg was there. Tons of people that we got to see and catch up with. Mike the Vegan was hosting a panel, and he was like, "Are you not speaking at any panels?" And I was like, "No, man, I didn't like message anybody, let anyone know I was coming." He's like, "Well, I'm hosting it, so are you down to be on it?" And I was like, "Sure, man." So it's pretty cool because he was like, "Okay, 4 o'clock, you're going to be on the social media panel." So I was able to talk, which, as you guys know,
you love to talk.
I'm not afraid of talking. I really like talking.
But you did so well, too. You're just such a good public speaker.
Thanks, baby.
You need to be doing that for career, for sure. Definitely, everyone was saying that, too. Everyone's like, he's so good. I'm like,
yeah, Bobby came up and was, like, hyping me up.
Yeah, because
like,
you're good. You're so good at it.
I really appreciate it. But I also just like practicing, so anytime there's an opportunity, I'm always like, okay, yeah, as long as it fits in my schedule and stuff, I will come speak. There's this guy who at the very beginning, you know, we're all starting to talk. It's not Q&A time yet. This guy just like interrupts as we're all like talking. And he was like, "Fruit is the only way!" And we're all like, what is going on?
So weird.
Came up to like almost at the front of everybody who's watching, and it's just like literally a couple feet away from all the talkers. And he's like, "Fruit is the only way. Everything else is poison. Cooked food is poison. You should be eating all fruit." And so like, there was kind of some back and forth. Mike kind of like started answering him.
Yeah.
Started debating him, right?
Yeah, debating him for sure. Yeah, that was so strange. It was weird because no one knew what was happening because it was just so random. We were just like, what is going on right now? I wish I would have gotten it on film because it was so funny. Man, sorry. Continue.
Mike was being nice and like trying to debate. Try not to just shut this guy down and be like, "Hey, look, we're doing questions later, so shut up and leave." He was like, "Oh, well, there is an upper limit to how much fructose we can take in." And the guy was like, "No, that's lies. There's no science. Fruit is the only way." I'm not exaggerating. This guy was like a fruit zealot. He was like a Church of Scientologist fruit guy or something like that. He was really into it.
Screaming, freaking out.
He was pissed.
And he was standing right next to Bobby and I were sitting on the ground.
Yeah, he was right behind you.
Right, he was right next to us, standing next to us, and I was just like, "What is happening? Like, what?"
Yeah, we kept trying to like move the topic forward and like actually, because he's gonna waste all the window of talking that everyone came to see. No one came to see like this guy, and it wasn't working. Each time we tried to advance, Mike was getting caught up with him. The guy would talk more and bring up another point. Mike would try to rebut it, and then I was just like, because it's my turn to talk too, so I have the mic, and I'm just thinking like, okay, we'll let this guy talk for a second, and then Mike, I think he'll shut him down. Okay, and then the guy's talking again. Okay, Mike's gonna shut him down. Okay, now the guy's talking again. I'm gonna let Mike answer one more time, and then as soon as this guy starts talking again, I'm just gonna over talk him because I have the microphone and I have the power.
That's so funny.
So he starts his next line. Fruit is everything, and I'm just like, so talking about social media, I think a lot of people create channels and Instagram so that they can get attention, not because they actually believe. The guy's like trying to scream over me, so I'm just raising.
Like frozen like this, like watching, like what is happening? And the guy's literally standing right next to me, like right there, and I'm watching Brian from like on stage, and I'm like, what is happening right now? And it was just it was so hilariously crazy. It was so funny. I was just like, oh my gosh, this guy needs to just take a chill pill. It was so erratic. Funny. He was like freaking out. Like, it was like someone was talking badly about his mother or something. Like,
yeah,
it was so bad.
You're like, it's just so fruit, offensive. Man. Yeah. Everyone here is not eating animals, so who cares?
Right.
That guy eats wheat, exactly. You eat fruit. Who cares?
Let it happen. You know what I mean? Like, we're all vegan. We're all here for the same message. You know what I mean? Like, calm the F down.
You need to check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Chill out, bruh.
It was
Relax.
really funny.
It was hilarious, though.
So after I like over-talked him, he kept trying to say stuff, and then I can roll, man. I can roll for a minute just talking straight. I can create crap out of my head and just be like, I'm just keep saying stuff so that no one can hear you. And then he was like, ugh! Throws his hand in the air, and he's like, I don't remember what he said, but he's like, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And we're
I'm done or something like that.
Yeah,
we're
leaving. Like, good. That's what we wanted, man.
Right.
But you thought we were all going to be like, no, wait, don't leave.
Don't leave.
Anyways. I just thought that was funny.
funny.
I just thought it was funny because it was crazy.
It was so strange. It was just so weird because it's not like we're not all there for the same message and the same, you know what I mean? So it was just like the weirdest thing. It wasn't like anyone was attacking him for, you know, being a fruitarian, which is totally fine. You know, it was just so, it was hilarious.
He was taking things personal that there was no reason to take it personal.
Right, exactly.
So then he leaves and then we can actually start talking about, you know, what everyone wants to talk about. And like the first topic that comes up, of course, is ex-veganism. And so just immediately we jump into that. I'm like, dang, we're not even going to like talk about like protein.
No, we went straight for that.
Straight out. What does everybody think about ex-vegans? Brian, go. I'm like...
And you're the first one, you're like, well.
I'm like, what? Well, gosh damn, bro, you aren't going to let these audience members like me before they hate me?
I know. That was so funny.
Some of these people don't know me. They might not like what I'm about to say.
It's so funny.
But anyways, I gave my little spiel. A lot of people posted it and stuff. But one of the things I think is funny about the ex-vegan kind of thing is, like, a lot of people are saying, like, as soon as they had fish or as soon as they had eggs, they got their boner back. They got wet in the nether regions. Mm-hmm. Their sex drive, their libido came back. I always think that's a weird one. Because I'm like, there's no science behind that. I'm like, if you have a low zinc level or magnesium level, then you'll have lower natural testosterone. But those things are totally in the diet.
Right.
If you're not having your omega-3s, I could see that having problems, but that's also in the diet. I don't know. I just feel like that one's a sensational one that people like to poke on.
Throw that, yeah. They like
because we all like sex.
Right, exactly.
We all want to have a good boner.
Right.
And so I think that's a good one because if you can scare people into thinking that you aren't going to be able to have a boner if you stay vegan for a couple more years, then people are like, well, maybe my conviction isn't as strong as I want because I want to have a boner too.
Exactly.
Shout out helicopter.
It's the traffic copter.
It's the ghetto bird looking for criminals. But anyways, yeah, I think that's a funny one. I think that's one that like a lot of the ex-vegan channels and carnivore channels like to like harp on. Like, look, boom, just like that, within 1 second, everything was going back to normal.
Well, if you're not, the people that are like claiming this weren't eating at all. So if you're not eating, of course you're not having that drive. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know.
You gotta have calories if you want to do the hump hump.
Exactly. The hump hump.
It might be a little TMI, but I feel like for the sake of this argument, because there's so many people talking about it, maybe just for a half second here, we'll talk about us. So we've been vegan for, I think,
almost
4.5 years. It's been over 4 years for sure now. I feel like we're closer to 4.5.
Yeah, we're coming up on 4.5 actually.
Should really write it down. That'd be good. Because I feel like people ask and I'm always like, 4 to 12 years? I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're getting close to 4.5. I think it was, 4.5 maybe in September. I don't know.
So, with my libido levels, cat out of the bag, let's do it. I haven't had any issues. I have always been, this is getting way too TMI, I haven't even said anything yet. I've always been a super rock hard fella, bro. I've always been really excited about my genetic, biological drive towards sex. And I've always been pretty high energy about that, pretty about that. And yeah, so like if anybody would know, it'd be me, because it's not like I started with a low sex drive, libido, and then I'm like, I don't know, I've always kind of not really been too excited about that.
Right.
I've always been really gung-ho, and I can say there's been no difference in gung-ho-ness for me.
Right, and I would have to agree with that. I have had a pretty high sex drive just in general, and I don't think anything has shifted in my experience either. So I think we're both pretty similar with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, boop.
Yeah, things are still going strong.
Yep.
Hui, 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 hui,
Hui,
hui.
hui, hui, hui,
Hui, hui. Another thing that people have talked to us about a lot lately, especially at VegFest and stuff, is marijuana. And then that kind of cycles through to psychedelics, because there's a lot of people are doing ayahuasca right now. And so that's kind of the sensationalized psychedelic of choice for most people. I know a lot of people don't see like every YouTube video, so they haven't seen like my marijuana video. Sometimes I'm rehashing things to people and explaining to them again, like, yeah, here's my views on marijuana.
Right.
I personally I see no issue with it unless you have an issue with it. I think it should be legal. I think you should do it if you want to. I think it's no different than drinking alcohol.
Exactly.
You know, you don't really hear people being like, oh, you shouldn't have a beer on Friday. Yeah, I think that you should also not worry about having a joint on Friday.
Right.
You should worry about how you react to those things. So if the next 5 days you were just wrecked and you're not productive at all, I think you shouldn't do it.
Right. Then it's a problem if you're not being productive, yeah, for sure. And that's with anything that you are doing, you know.
How do you feel about weed?
I think it's great. I think it's better than alcohol. I don't know. Growing up, my mom was an alcoholic and like was into drugs and stuff, so I always had such a negative like view with alcohol. So when people would be like, oh, I'm drinking, you know, I into alcohol and stuff, I was, you know, I've always looked really negatively towards that. But with marijuana, I don't know, I just don't see a negative side effects towards that, honestly. You don't get the angry, like, slurring nastiness that you get with alcohol that you do with marijuana. So I don't know, I think marijuana can be really beneficial towards people with tons of different things. But yeah, I think marijuana is amazing. So
I'm over here just powering down Pansy.
I know, so good.
Yeah, I agree. I think like what you're saying, alcohol, you can find yourself in precarious situations. I have had, I won't say who, but a very high-ranking YouTube individual. Like, it's so ridiculous to say. But I've had a friend who's a pretty high social media person. Went to a bar with me after an expo, because that's what everybody was doing. So I was like, all right, I'll go with everybody wherever everyone's going. There's like, I'd say about 15 really big influencers. And one specifically, who's my friend, got so drunk that I ended up spending about like close to 2 hours in a bathroom with him, just holding his head up close to the toilet, because if I let go of his head, he'd drop his head onto the toilet seat. And if I wasn't there at all, then he would have probably thrown up a few times and then just literally like fell onto the ground. On the ground in a public, you know, a bathroom at a bar. That's not gonna happen with weed.
Not at all.
Not gonna happen. At worst, you just won't make it to the thing that you were trying to go to. You'll just
Exactly.
fall asleep at home before you get there.
And you'll eat a lot of shit.
But you definitely, you're not gonna have, you know, waking up and being like, oh my gosh, has my face been on this toilet seat?
Yeah.
All night? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways.
There's no question about what you did
I guess
the night before.
where we grew up, weed is just more acceptable too. So
Yeah.
I kind of feel like we've had more time to think that it's regular and get used to it, versus other people, like, you know, if you're in Pennsylvania or something like that, it's
different. Yeah,
super
that's
illegal.
so true. Yeah. I feel like weed's been legal here since I was like 12.
For real. All right, we're still recording.
Still recording. We're good, guys.
The worst part about being a YouTuber is when you do a really good interview, you do a really good talk, you're like, I was really feeling that, and then you check and it stopped at like 6 minutes in. Right
and
after
then you
the
have
intro.
to figure out where it stopped and everything.
I hate that.
terrible.
It happens all the time.
This sushi's so good.
I know.
so
I want another plate of it.
No, so good.
That's the other thing with us with sushi is literally every time we're like, should we go get more? It's just the best food ever. A food that's cold that is still good is awesome. And it's always so hot here in California that, like, right now it's not that hot, so we're just eating it because we love it. But during the summer, you're like, should we go get some pho? No, I'm already sweating right now. If I eat hot soup, I'm gonna be sweating out my butthole. But Sushi.
You're good to go, yeah.
Yeah, it cools you down. Usually that conversation goes into psychedelics. People say like, oh, I've heard about ayahuasca, or have you ever done mushrooms or acid, or have you ever done DMT or any of those kind of crazy things? And I know a lot of you guys have asked that before as well. I personally have done mushrooms and LSD. And I personally think that they are not bad. I think that people do things incorrectly with a lot of different substances, even caffeine, things like that, and it gives a bad name for things. So I'd say like when it comes to psychedelics, it's not so much like weed where it's like I think just about anybody can smoke it every once in a while and it'd be fine for them. I don't think you need to prepare for anything. Psychedelics, I definitely think your mind needs to be in the right place. You need to have prepared for it. If you're going through some crazy breakup, some crazy depression, something like that, I think it might not be the best time to go through with one of those things. Yeah,
you definitely have to be in the right headspace for sure for that kind of stuff.
That being said, though, I think it can really open your mind to different ways of thinking.
Absolutely.
And you sit there and try to wrap your mind around the things that you value and see whether or not you still value them with a different, mindset. I've sat there before, just like my eyes closed and thinking about, like, what are we doing? We live on this weird earth, specifically in this weird country, and our whole mission is to make as much money as possible, and then we die. It's like, and you spend the first 15 years enjoying your life because you're like a kid, someone's taking care of you, so you get to enjoy it. Then you go to school, and from school until 65, you're going to school, you get out, immediately get your job, you start your job until you're 65, then you're allowed to retire. So that mid-period, until you turn 65, is all work, or you're not doing the right thing. Then when you're 65 until you die, and most people die somewhere around like 80s now, you only have 15 more years. So really the only time that you enjoy your life is that first 10 to 15 and that last 10 to 15. And then everything in the middle is just not good. It's a weird way that we run things.
And you also have like social pressures of getting married and having children super young as well. And that's a huge thing too.
We get that all the time.
Oh my gosh. So many people are always like, when are you having kids? When are you getting married?
Family members especially. Like online people, they'll more ask about it, but family members and people in real life push it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, dude.
They're like, I'm getting married now. How come you haven't yet?
You're next.
And I'm like, but but you also complain to us about like your financial situation.
Exactly.
And you don't have enough free time. And then you had another
and not
baby.
only that, but like, here's my take on it. I feel like I'm just finally getting to the point where I'm like financially stable, like getting to that point, and like I'm finally following my dreams and, being able, like I just published my first book.
Yeah,
like,
just got her first book done.
Yeah, so like there's still so much I want to be able to accomplish before I even think about bringing a child into the world. You know what I mean? Like that is just I'm just not there yet. Like not even close to being there yet. Like at least 8 to 10 years off, because I'm kind of a selfish person when it comes to that, and I'm not afraid to admit that, because I have things that I want to accomplish. Like I spent my early years taking care of my sisters and stuff, and like I want to be able to do what I want to do, you know what I'm saying? Like we want to travel and we want to get shit done. We don't want to have kids and
for some reason
focus on that. Like
that's not acceptable.
I know, it's weird, and we get like judged for that.
People think that that's rude of you.
Yeah.
It's not rude to anyone though, because there's no kid that is existing right now that we're like neglecting.
Right.
We're choosing not to have that kid so that we do not neglect it while we pursue those goals and dreams.
Exactly.
And that's not to say that you shouldn't have a kid at certain ages, young age, old age, whatever. It's just that that's our personal path. Yeah. And I do just feel like there's a lot of pressure to do it the way that it's supposed to do.
Right.
You meet somebody, if you've been dating them for more than a year, why aren't you married yet? And if you've been dating, if you're dating them for more than 3 years, or if you're married, why haven't you had a kid yet?
Yeah, it's like pressure, man. If you've been dating for even more than like 6 months, it's like, why aren't you married yet? Why aren't you, like at work the other day, my coworker was like, when are you guys getting married? When are you guys having kids? And I'm like, bitch, relax. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to be working here for the rest of my life. Sorry to say, not to offend anyone, but like, I just personally don't see that in my future. I just don't.
You're like, I'm not 45 yet. We always make jokes like we're going to have kids when we're 50.
We are.
It'd probably be a little earlier than that.
A little earlier, but
shoot for the stars.
I got
on the
goals,
moon.
baby.
So anyways, yeah, things like that can go through your mind when you're on psychedelics, and it just gets you like a fresh, different way to look at things. Makes you think like, no, that system that we follow right now is kind of asinine. It's a little crazy. Why do we follow it that way? Why do we do things that way? And that's one thing that I think is powerful about those kind of things. Yes, you can totally do that through meditation. You can do that through just deep thinking, analytical thinking, critical thinking, all that stuff. Yeah, totally. That's totally cool too. I think that we should all do a little bit deeper thinking and question our stances on certain concepts and ways that we live and the systems that we are in and stuff. See if we like fully line up with them, and if not, then we should change and do things that make us feel like we're more lined up with our values and the way we look at things.
Absolutely.
Anyways, that's my spiel on psychedelics. Don't do them often.
Yeah, don't. You'll get weird.
Vegan Gains was super angry back in the day. You guys remember his videos and stuff. If you watch him now, you see he's quite a bit more tempered, and he's like a little bit more patient with people. And a while back he announced that he had like done some, I think mushrooms or something like that. I think that was a huge part of it. Well, I know it was a huge part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he kept that video up and stuff.
Him.
But yeah, just changed the way. He was like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't be so mean to humans even though I don't like them as much. Maybe I should just like back down on my violent stuff. Yeah, so it just changes people's
Definitely
opinions
opens your mind up, you know.
This pantsuit is so good.
It's delicious. I got some rice. It's really good.
Oh yeah, you got soy sauce in your rice. What is pantsuit? I don't. Well,
it's a Filipino dish.
Yeah, Filipino. Okay. That's what I was asking. It's got like carrots, noodles, I think some onion, maybe like a little cabbage in there.
Yeah, some green beans.
Oh, some grand bans.
Grand bans.
Obviously, lots of veggie stock. I can't lie, she made it pretty dirty. Like you can tell,
very.
yeah. There's a lot of oil and salt in there. So I kind of like soaked it, and then poured it out, and then soaked it one more time and poured it out.
Rinsed it, yeah.
Just, you know when you eat something and you get that mouth feel, you get your lips covered in oil? I don't know.
Oily.
It's just too much for me. And
well,
now
it makes your belly like, I don't know,
rumble.
like a film of just oil. It's just too much.
It's like a battle of Winterfell in your stomach.
Just fighting off each other.
Yeah, so sometimes I do stuff like that. That was amazing.
That was delicious.
All right. I think that's it, everybody. I think we're just past 20 minutes here. I love doing these mukbangs. I always forget to do them.
It's been a while.
I asked you guys on the old Instagram what you'd like to see, and a lot of you guys said a mukbang, or you said a video with Sammy, and so best of both worlds. We got Sammy here. I have the mukbang. I hope you guys enjoyed sitting down with us.
Yeah.
Listen to us babble through a couple different topics.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed the meal that you were having. If you guys haven't already, Sammy is my girlfriend. If you didn't know, you should go and follow her on her YouTube and Instagram. She covers mental health, but also veganism as well.
Thank you.
And she just came out with her poetry book she's working on for about a year and a half called The Hell That Holds Me.
I did. I'm so excited about it.
Came out about a little over a week ago.
Yes.
And it went #1 in the psychology section of Amazon and also #1 in new literature.
Yes, yeah, it did so good. I was so surprised. So
That was pretty
yeah,
cool.
I'm so grateful.
So check that out if you guys want to check out Baby Girl's poetry.
Thank you. Thanks, babe.
I appreciate you guys coming in here. Let us know what your opinion is on Avengers and on Game of Thrones as well, without spoiling it. No spoilers. And I think that's it. I'm going to be up in LA with Derek Sinna and John Venus next week, so I'm really excited about that. Keep your eyes peeled for that content. Lots of good things coming. I appreciate all you guys coming in and support. There's been a lot of it lately. Thank you. If you enjoy this video, make sure you give it a big old thumbs up. Let us know what you thought in the comments below. And subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Team Beyond the Week.
CT.
Lift heavy or die Myron, motherfucker.
Team Beyond the Week.
CT, lift heavy or die